In this video, I'll show you how to assemble my 3D paper latte box, complete with whipped cream and sprinkles and room to store treats inside. To get started, you'll need this cup side piece right here, and the first thing we're going to do is go along and gently fold all these tabs on the fold line. Alright, once those are folded, it looks like this, and we're ready to get started. So take note of which end has this side tab. It's this end right here, and we're going to start with that end. And then we're going to take the cup bottom piece, and we're going to start with that last bottom tab, and I'm going to put some hot glue on it. I find that hot glue works the best for this part of the box. And I'm going to press that in place, just lining it up with the edge. And now I'm going to flip it over to the back side so I can get to the tabs easier. I'm going to put glue on just that next tab, flip it back over and press that in place. And then flipping it over to the other side again. And then I kind of folded some of those tabs down more so they're easier to get to. Put glue on the next tab and press that in place. Flipping it back over and putting glue on the next tab here and curving that cup side around and pressing the cup bottom in place on that tab. Again, flipping it back over and putting glue on the next tab and pressing that in place. And then just repeating this process of flipping it back over, putting glue on the tab, and then pressing that tab in place. We're just repeating the same process all along the entire cup side. And if you'd like, you can start doing more than one tab at once. That will speed up the process quite a bit, but you'll have a little bit less control. So if you want more control, just keep doing one tab at a time. If you want to go a little faster, you can do multiple. Either way is just fine. So I'll just speed up the video a bit here, going through the rest of the process of attaching this side to the bottom of the cup. And once you have more of the side attached, you can start just putting glue on it from this direction instead of flipping it to the inside, because it will get harder to get to the inside. Just use whatever technique works best for you. And it gets a little tighter in here at the end, so just do your best to get glue on those tabs and get them into place. And then finally, these last tabs here. And then the very last tab. Alright, so once that last tab is firmly attached, it looks like this, and now we're going to do this side tab here. So you can line that up and see exactly where it needs to be glued, and then I'm going to put glue all along that tab. And then just go ahead and press that in place. Alright, so now we have the cup assembled and it looks like this, and now we just need to glue the cup inside bottom to the inside bottom of the cup. So you can use whatever adhesive you'd like for this, but first I just set this in there to kind of see how it needed to be positioned, and then I put some hot glue into the bottom of the cup and then dropped that piece back in. And then you can take something long like scissors or a pencil and gently push that down to make sure it's attached. And here is how the cup looks. If you want to add a sleeve to your cup, the next step is to assemble that. It's super easy. We're just going to take the two ends of that sleeve together and we're going to glue it on this tab here. So I'm using hot glue for this. I'll just put glue along that tab and overlap right over that and press it in place. And here is the finished cup sleeve. You can take the sleeve and go ahead and slide that onto the cup, lining up the seam on the sleeve with the seam on the cup. And it looks like this. Next, we're going to assemble the lid/drink portion of the box. So you'll need these three pieces right here. And you'll notice you have a bigger circle and a smaller circle. Set those circles together and figure out which is the bigger of the two and set that bigger one aside. We want to work with the smaller one right now. So we're going to take that smaller circle, which is the lid top and the lid side piece right here. We're going to take the end of the lid side piece that has the tab on the side and we're going to glue the lid top to that first tab. So I'll go ahead and put glue on that tab there and press it in place, lining up the edge with the fold. And then flipping it over to the back side and putting glue on that next tab. Flip it back over and press it in place. And you'll notice that this process is very similar to the process we use to create the cup itself. So we're just following that same process of putting glue on one or two tabs at a time, curving the side around and pressing those tabs in place. And again, I like to do one tab at a time here just to have a bit more control, but you can definitely do multiple if you would like. And at this point in the process, you can see I found it easier to stop flipping it over to the back and just put glue from the top, just kind of bending that side piece back so I could get to those first tabs and then gluing those in place. And I'll just speed up the video here as I repeat the process until we get to the end of this piece. All right, we're getting a little closer to the end here. And then these last couple tabs, just same thing. And this last tab here. And then once that last tab is attached, we can go ahead and glue that side tab to complete the piece. So the finished lid looks like this. And now we're going to take that bigger circle that we had set aside, which is the drink top, and this cup rim piece, and these two pieces should be the same size. And we're just going to glue those two pieces together. So for this, I would recommend using the Tombow Mono Liquid Glue, which I didn't have with me at the time I filmed this, so I used hot glue, but there are other adhesives that would work a little better for this. Because hot glue sets so fast, I felt like I couldn't glue this whole piece at once, so I glued it in sections, and that way I could be a little more precise with the placement. But if you're using something like the Tombow glue, you can definitely put glue on this whole piece and glue the whole thing at once. So once that piece is finished, it looks like this, and now we're going to glue that to the top of the lid piece. So I'm flipping both of these over so they're face down, and I'll take that lid piece and set it on top of the drink top and just decide how it needs to be placed to get it as centered as possible. So I like how it looks like this, and then I'm just going to pick that lid piece back up and put hot glue all over the top of that. And go ahead and glue that, trying my best to center it once again onto that drink top. And you want to make sure that this is well attached, because as you slide the lid off the cup, it will put some pressure on it. So just make sure that it's really well glued. All right, so it looks like this, and now we can slide that onto the cup. You can see it just slides right inside the cup just like that, and it looks like this. So the next step is to create the whipped cream for our drink. So I'm going to take this piece right here and fold all of these to the inside. So it looks like this. Next, I'm going to take this tool that's for curling paper. If you don't have one of these, you can just use something round like a pen or a pencil, or even a butter knife will work. And we're just going to take each one of these and curl them outwards like this. So the fold should be inwards, but the curl should be outwards. All right, so all of those are curled, and it looks like this at this point. And now we're just going to take two opposite pieces, right, just like this. We're going to bring those together in the center and just kind of interlock them like this. Now I'll take the next one from that bottom one and interlock that one. And then the next one, and make sure each one is going underneath the last. And then this last one right here, making sure these all stay together. And then I'm going to move on to the other side. And again, each one needs to go underneath the last and just go right to the center there until you have them all together in the center, and you can see it starting to come together now. And then at this point, it's just a lot of shaping and getting things to look how you would like. So you want all of these to be gathered together in the center as much as you can. And then once you've done that, be very, very careful not to burn yourself, but take some hot glue and just put a little bit in the center, and then just kind of get all of these points to stick together into that glue. So each one of these is going to come out looking a little bit different, which is just fine. But you just want those points to stay together. And then just keep adding a little bit of glue whenever you need it until it's all together and it's formed the shape that you would like. You can try placing your plastic lid over it to see if the height is right. I can see this is too high, so I'm going to add a little more glue here. This piece kind of came out from where it was supposed to be, so I'll put that back. And another piece came out here, so I'll just add a little bit more glue right there. So this is just a process of working with it until it looks how you would like. And then at this point, I'm just going to start flattening it. And you don't have to do this, but I kind of prefer the shape a little bit flatter. So I'm just going to go around and just gently press down on that to flatten it. And then try putting that lid over it again and see if you like the height. I still wanted this to be flatter, so I pressed on it more. Again, that's a little bit shorter now. It fits a little better within that lid. And I'm pretty happy with it now. So I'm going to take that once it's finished and set that on top of our drink and just decide where it needs to be placed to get it to be centered. And then once I've decided on that, I'll just pick it back up, put some hot glue on the bottom, and press it back down right on top of that drink. Make sure that it's well attached. And it looks like this at this point. And then this is the point that we'll add any sprinkles or decorations to the whipped cream. This is totally optional, of course, but it's really fun to add polymer clay sprinkles to this to customize it to the kind of drink that you're making. There's so many fun polymer clay sprinkles online, so for something like a pumpkin spice latte, you can get little pumpkin sprinkles. For a hot chocolate, you can do little candy canes or little Christmas sprinkles. So the options are really endless here to customize it and get it looking extra special. For this particular box, this is just kind of a general latte box. So I used these pastel colored sprinkles that I made myself out of polymer clay with an extruder tool. So you definitely can make these yourself, but there's also lots of options online to choose from if you'd rather not. So I tried out putting the sprinkles on the drink part itself, and I tried out putting it just on the whipped cream, and I found that my preference was just to put it on the whipped cream. At this point, you can put the lid back on the box and see how it looks and decide if you'd like to add more or if you're ready to move on. I found that it usually looks best to have at least 2 different colors or styles of sprinkles. So I'm just going to keep working with this until I like how it looks. All right, so here is the finished whipped cream and sprinkles, and it looks like this. And I'm just going to set the lid back on it, and now we're finally ready to glue this lid on. So I'm going to use hot glue for this, and I'm just going to put some glue into the rim of that cup, and then press that in place onto the top. Make sure that that's well attached. And here is the finished 3D paper latte box. You can fill this with coffee flavored treats and add a gift card to the recipient's favorite coffee shop. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed making this project with me, and please let me know if you have any questions.